Start it up.
Monday, we're here. Cheap Not Broke fam. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. What the hell? That ain't it. That ain't it either. There I go. Welcome to the show. Thank you all for tuning back in. This is Cheap Not Broke. I am your host, Malcolm, a real live accountant. You know, I guess people are like, why did you tell people you're accountant? Well, shit, I guess I'm telling you now. Why do you think I'd be doing all this stuff? Just for fun? No. Yes, I'm a real live accountant. That's what I do. And I tell the jokes. And I talk about money and a lot of other things. But anyway, we're not here to talk about all that. We're here to get into it. Tonight, your president is trying to do us a solid. Cap on credit card interest rates. 10%. Good old Donnie, President Trump, trying to get the money down. Now, you know he's just trying to save face for midterm. And it's only going to be for a year. It's not going to be a forever thing. That's even if it passes. So there's still some hurdles to get over. But if it does get over the hurdles, bravo, bravo. So we're going to get into all that. What does this mean for you? What does this mean for me, everybody else, and all that good stuff? Let's get into it. President Trump has called. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you. President Trump has called for a 1-year cap on credit card interest rate starting January 20th, which is, what's today's date? The 12th. That would give us until a week from tomorrow, a week from Tuesday. That would be January 20th. That's when this would be happening. So he has, the day's over. 7 days. 7 days to pull this off. He wants to put a cap on interest rates 10% starting January 20th, 2026, the anniversary of his inauguration. He says he will stop credit card companies from charging what he describes as 20 to 30% APRs and can help reduce consumer borrowing costs. There you go. Now, let's be honest. These credit card companies got a hell of a lot of money. These people gonna lobby. You best believe they're gonna cut some big ass checks to make this happen. Just imagine, we can't even do this. You know, just think how this all works. The companies have an issue with the law. Hey, we don't like that. Here's a check. Check gets cut, bill gets tossed, we're good to go. Like they're putting up all these speed cameras across there all over the place. Can we, the people of the county, of the state, can we go to our city, local government, and cut them a check and say, hey, don't do this. This is not in the best interest of us. Here's some money. And get up out of there. No, you can't. Tell me how lobbying is fair. How is it fair? It's not. But anyway, that's here nor there. That's here nor there. We will get into that in a minute. So, the cap on 20%. So basically, let's keep it simple. You borrow, you got $300. 30% is 30. Instead of paying that 30 a month on that 300, you'll pay $10 on that 300. 10%. Simple as I can get. Now, the problem is with the compound interest, you're paying 30% on, you don't pay that 30, you're going to have $330, then you add some more, you'll be paying 30% on $520 the next month and $720 the following month, or you pay a little bit on it, pay $100 on it here and there, but it keeps growing and growing and growing. It's like a weed. Debt grows like a weed. A weed. You don't want that. You're trying to chop that bit down at the root. You got to pull that up out the dirt. A debt is like a root. You got to pull it out the dirt. Get your ass up out of here. You got to pull the debt up out the dirt. Okay? Because sometimes you pay that debt down, you still add interest. You chop it down at the root, it grow back. You got to pull it up out of the dirt and get it down to zero and get that debt down. That's what you got to do. But anyway, the idea would like to limit interest card rates to lenders can only charge 10% for 1 year. This proposal was announced via Trump's social media public statements. Now, Now, 1 year. Now, this will be great if you're going to pay the credit card off in a year. You got to get the business. If this happens, you got 12 months to get to work. It's going to save you some money, but you got to get to work. If you're not going to pay off the debt, then what the hell does it matter to you? If hearing this doesn't get you excited to pay off your debt, then it's really not going to help you. You should be excited to pay off your debt. Why? Because you get to pay less than what you would have before. This is a good thing. If you do it right. Some other fools, people who are not as savvy as you and I, on Cheap Not Broke, they're not as savvy. They're going to go borrow more because they're going to think it's cheaper. Well, I'm paying 10% rather than 30%. I'm going to go spend more money. Fool. And some people's going to do that. Some people are going to run out here, 10%, they're going to spend more because they're going to realize, oh, the interest is not as much as it was. And they're going to go out there and spend all that money, and they're going to get in trouble. And then this whole thing's going to expire in a year, and you lost. You fucking lost. 12 months at 10%. Listen to me. Listen to me. If you're not going to pay off the debt, it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of time. They're saving you money. You're not going to have to pay as much in interest as before. You might, I don't know. Let's see. Let me see. Let's do some math real quick. Let me do some math. $300 a month at $300 a month at 30% for 1 year. What is that? You pay $300 a month, 12 months, APR 30%, APR total pay $3,000. Interest $450. So, all right. So you got $300 a month, right? For 12 months, APR 30% equals 2.5% a month. Total pay 300 times 12 is 3,600. Approximate interest paid 400 to 450 a month, depending on the balance declines or compounding, whatever. You got to do that math. Approximate principal covered 3,050 to 3,150. Scenario 2. All right. So at that 30%, it'll cost you about $450 a month. Let's see. Well, I don't know why I need to do all that. See, I'm getting lazy. I could have did all this with my damn calculator. Why do all that? $30 a month. My calculator at 30 times 12. 30 times 12. Boom. So that's $360. $360 versus $120. So $360 and $10 a month for 12 months. $120. It'll save you a difference of $240. So instead of paying $360 for that $300 a month, you'll be paying $120 on that $300 a month. So that's $240, which is a significant difference. That's a big difference. That's a lot less money to be paying, right? So if you don't capitalize on that, ladies and gentlemen, you're messing up. You are messing up. Now, remember, I don't think this can happen through an executive order. If I'm not mistaken, let me check my notes. I don't think this can happen through executive order. This got to pass through Congress. And let me tell you something. Congress accepts money. They're going to take that lobbying money. Trump cannot unilaterally impose a federal rate cap by executive order. Interest rate caps normally require new legislation from Congress. And they might not. I don't think they're going to pass this shit in 7 days. Experts in Wall Street analysis widely view the plan as unlikely to pass Congress or to be enforceable without legislation action. Right. Banking regulation reality. United States credit card interest rates are largely governed by state usury laws and federal banking regulations, not direct presidential decree. Right. Usury laws. Now, there's a whole thing about, there's a documentary on YouTube that gives you all the history of credit cards, how they all got started, why they come, because all your credit card advertisements come from Iowa. I think they have, because Iowa, they have the easiest, they have the most lax usury laws. They let you charge the highest interest rates, and that's where they mail all the stuff from. Something like that. But there's a reason. If you look at all your credit card advertising, it only comes from like 2 states. I think Iowa. Most of this stuff comes from Iowa. Why is Trump pushing this? midterm elections. He ain't pushing to save us no money. No, he's not. I don't believe it. I don't believe he's trying to save anybody money. I just think he's just trying to do it for midterms, trying to make himself look good. But who gives a damn? If I'm a benefit and win, send it my way. I'll take it. Average credit card interest rates in the U.S. have been around 20% or higher, burdening many borrowers with high interest rate payments. A 10% cap could theoretically save customers tens of hundreds of billions of dollars in interest each year. Now, here's the real thing. Actually, on some real shit, tell you the truth, your credit card is actually at 0% interest if you pay that money back on time. Interest only happens after the statement date closes. If you borrow the money, if you treat a credit card like a 28-day loan and don't let it go the full thing, interest free. It's an interest free loan. It's just interest free. They don't charge you interest until the end of the month. So if you can beat and pay it back before the interest hits, you're good to go. You don't have to pay any interest at all. See, they sell the credit card to you like you're supposed to use it over month and go into debt. If you treat it like a 30-day loan, you will never be in debt. You'll be all right. But we don't do that. They don't teach you that. Hello, son. Hello, mom. Thank you for watching. That's who taught me how to use the credit card. And all right, mom, got me my first credit card. Mom got me my first credit card and put me up on game. And then I did all my, took it to a whole nother level. But anyway, if you were to treat your credit card like a 30-day loan, you never have to pay no interest. You get the money and then you pay it back before the interest hits, you're good to go. The problem is people use too much credit. They can't pay the money back, and then they roll over into interest, and then they end up in debt. Then you become a revolver, and it goes out of control from there. But I guarantee you, if you paid that money back before the interest hit, you got a free loan. Because they're making money off of the credit card swipes. They're charging 3-4% every time you swipe the card. So they're getting their money. They're actually doubling up. They're making money every time you swipe the card. They're making money. Then they're making money off of you when you pay the interest. So they're making money. Credit card company making money two ways. Two ways. They're making that money. They're going to get that money. Let's see. Negative effects. If banks and credit card unions say 10% cap will reduce credit availability, especially for people with lower credit scores because lenders price risk into interest rates. So if you got bad credit, probably not going to give you anything, because people, since the interest rates are higher, they loan to more people. Because if you got bad credit, they'll loan to you at a higher interest rate, which means you're paying more money than the average person, which means they're probably banking on you to default. So they're trying to get as much money out of you up front because they're thinking that you're probably not going to pay it back at all. Issuers might cut rewards, tighten credit limits, raise fees, or reduce overall credit issuance. Yeah, that's true. Now, if they tighten credit limits and raise fees, we don't want that. We don't want that. But like I said, it's not going to happen in the next 7 days. Some consumers might be pushed into high-cost, unregulated lenders like payday lenders, or loan sharks if traditional cards become harder to get. Some people can't get that stuff now. But yeah, when they put it like that, now if they start messing with the credit card, if they start messing with the rewards, hey now, don't do that, because I live off the rewards. I am winning with them credit card rewards points. Don't touch that. Please don't touch that. So like I said, this could be a good and bad, but it's only for a year. So you only got 12 months. If you're not going to rush and pay the debt off, you kind of lost. You didn't capitalize. If you're going to keep spending money, if you're not going to spend this year and only pay on the debt and don't buy nothing, you're kind of squandering the time. You're squandering the time. I mean, this is great in theory, but on the flip side of it, as a person who likes to use a lot of credit card points and, all that, leave it as is. If it's going to mess with my points and all that, hell no, leave it as is. So the banks got to figure out a way to still get their money. So it's not like they're just going to allow you to take all this interest away from them, all the money. They're not going to figure out how to get it on the back end. They're not doing that. They're not. They're going to figure out a way to do it. Late fees will probably go up. Something's going to go up. They're probably going to raise merchant fees. They're going to do a lot of stuff. But they're not going to just take a loss. They're not going to do that. And that's the other side of the game. The bank is not just about to lose. They don't lose. We found that out in 2008. They don't lose. They don't. They don't. So they're gonna figure out other ways to get this money. And like I said, it probably would get harder to get a credit card, and they're gonna loan to less people. So, but I don't see him pulling this off this fast. I don't see it, and you got to really think it all through. Are there going to be any negative effects? Because some people who don't have any debt, it's going to affect you negatively. If you don't have debt, you're not paying on. You pay your card off every month on time. You know, they're going to cut rewards, tighten credit limits, raise fees, and reduce overall credit card issuance. That hurts everybody. That hurts the churners. If you're churning, the person that, gets credit cards every couple years to go take trips and stuff like that, it's going to hurt you. Because they're going to cut the rewards, tighten up the credit limit. Well, that doesn't really matter. Raise the fees and reduce overall credit issues. So it's going to be harder for you to get your next card to get the bonus points. Or they'll probably do away with the bonus points. So now, why are we playing the game at all if we can't get all that? Why would we be playing the game if we can't get all that? We're playing for the points. We're playing for the bonuses. Paying for all this stuff. Would I mind adding you on Discord? Sure, mate. I'm not going to get on your community. Would you mind adding me on Discord? My username is Drip12. Sure. I got to figure out how to add you on Discord, Drip12, but sure, I would happily. I don't be on Twitch. I mean, I'm on Twitch, but I don't get on there. But yeah. Sure. Hey, man, I really love your stream and enjoy being a part of your fan community. Would you mind adding me on Discord? Sure. Is this a bot? I don't know where your user at. Drop a comment. Let me know you're not a bot, cause you be having them robots drop all that stuff. Let me know you're a real person, and we'll see about that. But I don't really know what Discord is. I don't. I don't. But anyway. Overall, if this happens, there are going to be some adverse effects to it. Like initially, like I said, this is only going to be good for people who are in debt trying to pay stuff off. But everybody's going to be affected, and everybody's not in debt, and everybody's not dealing with that same situation. So, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do about that? Me personally, like I said, the fact that he's only doing it for a year. The fact that it's only happening for a year lets it even more unlikely. I believe it's even more unlikely if he said it's going to happen for just 1 year. But like I said, the interest rate, the only people, if you're in that, if you pay it off one time, if you pay your bills on time, paying your credit card off on time, whoa, what's going on? Am I freezing up? What's going on here? There we go. All right, we're still here. I thought I was freezing up. But yeah, overall, like I said, it doesn't really matter. But I think the real problem is in America is the consumerism. We got a huge problem with consumerism. We really do. We got a big problem with it. People just every day are being tugged on to spend money here, spend money on this, spend money on that, spend money, spend money, spend money, spend money. And you just can't get away with it. And then the credit card is right there. You just swipe mindlessly. You don't think about it. When you have cash, you have to think about the spending. You can't just spend all your money because you'll run out. You hit the zero, then there's nothing else to spend. Credit card, think about this. When you spend $100 in cash, you spend $100, you're down to zero. When you spend money on a credit card, $100 on a credit card, you now owe $110, $112, depending on what the interest rate is. Right? You depending on the interest rate is, you're gonna owe. That's what you're gonna owe on it. So, what do you do? You don't have to pay the interest at all. You really don't. If you just get smart, use your credit card as a 30-day, 28-day loan, pay it off before the interest, you'll never have problems. That's how the credit card game works with your reward points. It only works paying off the card in full every month. You're not staying in debt, and you can maximize and capitalize on all the other opportunities and everything that you need for all that. Hold on one second. What the heck is going on? heck is that? Whoa, my thing is freezing up. What the heck is going on? Alright. I don't know what the heck is going on. We're going to go to break. I gotta figure out, man. I'm starting to freeze up. Let me go to break real quick. We'll be right back. Alright. We're back. Oh, what's going on? Technical difficulties. But anyway, we're going to keep it pushing. We're going to move on to interesting news. We're going to get on to that. I don't want to share my screen because I don't know. I think I got to take last month's episodes off of my computer. Slowing me down. Alright. Let's see. Let's get to the news. To the news. Give me 1 second. There we go. Boom. All right. We still here? Cool. Okay. Let me get my graphic real quick. Then we can keep it pushing. Can I share? Are you gonna let me share? Let me not. All right. Saks Global bankruptcy filing could come Tuesday, but fate is prized real estate up in the air. After weeks of turmoil, Saks Global. Wait, is this Saks Fifth Avenue? Saks Global. Let me see. Saks Global. Okay, yeah. The owner of Saks Fifth Avenue. That's okay. Right. After weeks of turmoil, Saks Global could file for bankruptcy by Tuesday, though it's unclear how much the luxury giant's prized real estate can be snatched up by creditors. Post learned the owner of Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, Bergdorf Goodman, and Saks off Fifth has been in talks to secure over $1 billion in debtor possessions, or DIP financing, which is in need to keep operations going from private equity firms, according to sources familiar. They said the deals on the table include a possible $1.5 billion infusion from Bankridge Capital and Pentwater Capital, or $1.5 billion from PIMCO. PIMCO was a co-owner of Neiman Marcus when it was sold to Saks Fifth Avenue in a blockbuster deal, $2.6 billion in 2024. A complicating factor in the brand is licensing company Authentic owns 50% of stake in the entity, has the right to license merchandise among other uses of storied century-old nameplates. Licensing the names like Neiman Marcus, Bergdorf Goodman. Authentic licensing stake in the real estate brand could increase the event of filing bankruptcy, said sources with knowledge of the situation. It is unclear how much equity Saks Global has in its vast real estate holdings and what would be available to creditors holding its historic Fifth Avenue flagship stores, sources said. But the source closest to Saks Fifth Avenue, the company flagship, is appraised at nearly $3.5 billion, and that it has a debt of $2.5 billion. The building's remaining equity of more than $2 billion could be pledged to creditors, sources added. How the hell they get into debt like that? They what? Man, if Saks Fifth Avenue can fall into debt, anybody can. Saks Global Chief Executive and Architect of Neiman Marcus acquisition in the real estate mogul Richard Baker, who will likely lose management control after the company declares bankruptcy, sources said. He probably should. If this is his fault, if he messed it up, yeah, he should lose control. What y'all give him control for? Damn, Saks Fifth Avenue in bankruptcy, $1 billion. Then you got all these they just be getting passed around by these private equity firms, and business does not get any better. All right, Citibank to axe 1,000 jobs this week as a part of massive restructuring program. Let me switch. I keep trying to look at the damn computer. There we go. That's a little easier. Ugh, that's not good. Let's clean this off. Ugh, I gotta clean this off. Anyway, let's keep it pushing. Where's my story at? Yes. Citigroup to axe 1,000 jobs this week as a part of massive restructuring program plan. Citigroup has set out to cut 1,000 jobs this week, as a source familiar with the matter told Reuters on Monday, as a part of the plan announced 2 years ago to reduce workforce by 20,000 at the end of the year. The New York-based bank had about 229,000 full-time employees as of December 31st, 2024, according to the last annual report. The bank did not disclose the number of jobs to be cut, but said in a statement it would continue to reduce the headcount in 2026. Damn, $1,000. 1,000 jobs. Man, you know what? They tell you to be loyal to the money, not to the companies. These people just cut you, chop you, don't have no regard. You got kids to take care of. They're in school. You got all these things going on in your life. They don't care. They just let you go and go figure it out. Hopefully they give a nice severance and offer people health insurance a couple months past them getting let go, but you have to wait and see. Anyway, next story. Members of Congress, families would be banned from trading stocks under GOP lawmakers' bill. A leading House Republican is introducing a new bill that seeks to ban stock trading by members of Congress, as well as their spouses and dependent children, in the latest effort to address ethics concerns with lawmakers' invested portfolios. Fox Business reviewed a draft copy of legislation that would restrict lawmakers, their spouses, and dependents from buying stocks of comparable securities during their service in Congress. The bill would also create a requirement that the sale of stock covered by law must be publicly disclosed at least 7 days and no more than 14 days in advance of the sale, and include a description of the number of shares and the projected date of sale. The member of Congress connected to the transaction would be required to withdraw such disclosure if the covered individual chooses not to sell the investment. The legislation is being introduced by House Administration Committee Chairman Brian Stell, Republican of Wisconsin. Lawmakers either violate the stock trading restrictions themselves or indirectly through their spouse or dependent child would incur a fee. And if they purchase a stock or with a cover investment, it would be required to sell it. The fee would be incurred equal to the sum of $2,000 or 10% of the value of the transaction, which is greater than the net gain realized, if any, as determined by the supervising ethics staff. Man, that ain't about to stop them people. Them people still about to be out here trading, getting money. Good luck with that. I don't see that happening at all by any stretch of the matter. You're not going to stop Congress from doing that. You're trying to get your own people to turn against you. Good luck with that. I don't think so. Following the assessment fee stemming from the stock trading ban, the House or Senate Ethics Office would have the authority to render the member of Congress to the Department of Justice if the lawmaker retires before paying the fine. Okay, and they're really going to act on that. Under Steele's bill, the provisions restricting members from the stock trading would take effect 180 days after the bill's enactment. The House Administration Committee is expected to hold a markup hearing for Steele's bill on Wednesday. I don't see it passing. I don't see them people. I don't see you taking money out of them people's pocket. I don't see them vote. And if they have to vote against it, that would like be the Supreme Court voting to not have a lifetime, not have a lifetime. Damn. To be in, what's the word I'm looking for? To be I guess employed, whatever the word is. To be on the bench for lifetime. They wouldn't vote against that. People don't vote against their own interests. They just do not do that. And when you have the money and the law on your side, you just don't do it. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. Oh yeah, let's see. Next story. Meta warns Australia's under 16 social media ban isn't effective after banning 550,000 accounts. Of course you would say it's not effective. It's affecting your bottom line. Why would you? Yeah, this is great. Then other people do it and that affects business. So of course Meta is not going to say the ban is working. Meta is urging Australia to rethink its ban on social media for people under the age of 16 after the company said it blocked nearly 550,000 accounts it believed belonged to teens in just 1 week in order to comply with the law. The tech giant said it removed 544,052 suspected under 16 accounts across Instagram, Facebook, Threads between December 4th and 11th as the country's new age floor kicked in. Meta warned lawmakers in Canberra that a blanket ban will just push kids to other apps. We've also stated previously that Meta is committed to meeting with compliance obligations, that is taking necessary steps to remain compliant with the law, the company said. What do y'all think? Do y'all think banning 16-year-olds off of the app is going to do anything? I personally don't think it's going to do anything. I mean, like I said, they're just going to go to another app. You got to ban all of it. But, you know, kids are resilient. They're going to find another way. They're going to find a way. Hell, they probably got a way to do it right now. They're going to figure it out. They're going to find a way. They're going to find a way. I know that. I mean, I don't think... Now, personally, I don't think, you know, kids between 0 and 10 should have all that screen time because you spend your whole life on a damn screen. You watch TV, you're on your phone, you're on the computer, you're on a screen all day, every damn day. So I don't think kids, because then it just gets you addicted. I don't know if it's good for your sight. But social media, yeah. I mean, it's a lot that goes on these platforms, and I don't know as a parent if you can protect your child from all these things. I just don't know if you can keep up with everything that they can get into. I'm pretty sure there's some parental controls on there. I don't know, but I don't really see it providing a benefit to you. You have a lifetime to get on. You have a whole lifetime to get on. So I don't really think, and then it gets you addicted because I think now people really have issues. If social media was to go away altogether, I think people would really be distraught. They really be in bad spots and spaces mentally if it were just to just disappear and not be there at all. But you're training the kids young. So I think this is good for Australia. The United States, I don't think that's going to happen. That's going to be really difficult. We got a lot more people here. But to ban everything, I mean, but the kids are going to find something else. They got TikTok. Somebody's going to come with another app, and it's probably not going to be regulated. And they're going to do whatever the hell they want. So drop a comment. Let us know your thoughts. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Judges are tenured employees. Lifetime appointments. Yeah, they should be tenured, but shit, Supreme Court justices, they up there forever. Who is good at their job at 80 years old? Who is there good? So you're telling me everybody else, you know, you start having to decline at a certain point in life. But they're up there writing our laws and just so you just work on a Tuesday, dead on a Friday. Man, nah. You got to make them people retired. They got to give it up. You shouldn't be employed for the whole life. Supreme Court justice should not have lifetime tenure. It should be gone. It should get maybe, I don't know, 10 years, 12. You gotta go, because then we can't get no fresh ideas in there. I don't think you should get a lifetime. Nobody should be doing their job for a lifetime, because you're not going to be good at it a lifetime. You're not going to be good. You're just not. You're not going to be good at it, so I don't think you should be doing that. But anyway, if you just joined, if you dropped in late on the show, we're discussing Trump's 10% cap on credit card rates. How it could be a good thing if you're going to pay off the debt in that 1 year. After that, it goes back to normal. So you got to take advantage and get it done. However, people who don't have any debt will be punished, because the credit card company is going to have to figure out how to get this money from somebody. And the people who don't have any debt, they're going to get it from you. So I don't know if it's a good thing for everybody. It might be good for some, but not everybody. I don't see it being a good thing for everybody. And I don't see it happening. Not by the 20th of next week. Get through Congress? Shit, no. They're not going to happen. And the credit card companies are already lobbying. They're already spending the money to make sure it doesn't happen. One of my credit cards, I wish it would happen, but, I don't want retroactively anything negative to happen to the credit card points rewards game. I don't want anything to happen to that. I benefit a lot off of that. I like it. I win off of the credit cards game, so I don't want to see that happen. But, drop your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Love to hear what you think about credit card, all that. And remember what I said. A credit card can be a free 30-day loan if you pay it off before the statement day hits and they hit you with the interest. If you can pay it off early, you got a debt-free loan. If you can pay it off early, you got to be smart. You got to be wise. And you can do it. You just got to be disciplined. Don't buy that BS on there. Because listen, if you're using the credit card points and you're playing the rewards game, if you have debt, it kind of defeats the purpose. It doesn't work. Got to be debt-free to play the game. Got to be debt-free to play the game. And I play it well. If you would like to know more about my credit card, of course, how I do all my traveling with my credit card, all my points, drop a like or a comment. Say, hey, teach me credit cards. And I will get you in my credit card course. I'm working on it being revamped, but I will get that thing done as soon as I can. Yeah, but that's what we got, ladies and gentlemen. Still early in 2026. Hopefully your year is off to a great start. We don't do New Year's resolutions around here. We just make changes. So one of my things is saving more money, stepping up the amount of money I save. Each year, if you get comfortable saving one thing, it gets automatic. You can save a little more. You're saving 100, go to 125, 150, 175, 200. Just keep going up a little bit. Keep challenging yourself. I would like to do some type of challenge, saving challenge on here. I got to figure out how to do it. They got to get some more people to participate, but that would be great. But I would like to do a savings challenge. Everybody save money. Talk about what your savings for and all that good stuff. I'd like to do a savings challenge. I'm going to think about that. I can make it happen. I'm going to consider and think about how to do a savings challenge on Cheap Not Broke, where we all can get on here and save some freaking money. Yes, I am. All right. That's what I got for you tonight. Credit cards, 10%. Pay off debt. Be debt-free, baby. Be debt-free, baby. Don't pay them people. Keep it in cash if you can. Cash is debt-free. Now, credit cards, they do have more benefits and more protections. So, of course, you want to use your credit card. You just don't want to pay the interest. Pay the debt off before the interest. And you don't have to pay that. You can skip out on all of that. But best believe these credit card companies are going to lobby. I don't think it's going to pass. But it would be good if it does. But then the adverse effects, what's going to happen with the credit card points and all that, it's going to suck. It's not going to be any good. And we're going to lose. All right. That's what we got for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back on Wednesday. This show is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Cheap Not Broke Live. I'm your host, Malcolm, the real accountant, where we talk about living life at your price. You don't need all the money in the world to enjoy yourself and have a good ass time. You don't need all that. But that's what we got for you tonight. We go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So if you like the show, please tell a friend of a friend of a friend. Let's get this thing filled with 300 people. That would be great. I would really appreciate that. If we can get 300 people on here one night and keep them on here every night, which is going to happen, that would be amazing. But since we don't, I'm appreciate everybody watching right now. Thank you all. I'm not going to overlook you all because without you, I'm just a guy on here talking to myself. So thank you all. I appreciate you. And like I said, we're going to be back on Wednesday night for the Wednesday night rant. Okay? More information, more good stuff. And remember, if you get anything from here, pay off your debt. Get debt free. It feels good. You'll love it. All right. I'll see you all Wednesday night for the Wednesday rants. Take care. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I'm your host, Malcolm, the accountant and the comedian. I'll see you guys Wednesday night. Take care.